words ever gotten you into trouble, Ganesh? I know they have for me at times. My impatience, right? So then the words have come out of my mouth that should not come out of my mouth because I'm working on my patience.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, I remember many years ago reading a book, and it was for dads and fathers, and it was
Yeah,
called The Point Man. And the author made a comment that every dad has hurt his son in some way. Yeah.
yeah,
And so my son must have been 5 years old at that point. So this was almost 15 years ago.
yeah.
So I asked him, "Have I ever hurt you?"
Mm.
Expecting him to fully say, "No way." I mean, I mean, you're talking about a 5-year-old, right? So dad
Yeah,
is still their hero in a sense. And to my surprise and shock, he said, "Yeah, you hurt me," right? And so obviously that bothered me very much. And so as I started to learn more, it was that sometimes I would get mad, I would say stuff to him. And of course, being a 5-year-old child, he was very sensitive to those
yeah,
words, right?
yeah,
It didn't sound wrong to me necessarily, but I was the one saying it, not the one hearing it, right? So obviously, it sounded okay to me at that time. So,
yeah,
but then I realized that people, and especially kids, are very sensitive to words. They're very
yeah,
sensitive to tone of voice. You know, they're often looking for approval, of course, at that age. And
yeah,
that may happen, they may be 50 years old and still be looking for approval from their parents, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, I think
I
there's
put
a
my
calling
hand
to be
up.
careful. So I think it's a call to be a little bit more quite careful with our words.
Right. Yeah. This is, like I say, I mean, our words have power, right?
Right.
And oftentimes we speak without thinking, right? And a narrative that has really stuck with me late 2023 was to listen more and speak less and to think before you speak.
Right. Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think of words as seeds, right?
Yeah.
So we're planting seeds, and those seeds may grow. And the question is, do we want them to grow? If that
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
seed we
Yeah.
planted, right? Sometimes we do, lots of times we don't. And so I think it depends on the soil, right? Depends on how that mind takes up those words. I don't think it means that we should only say positive things. Or, if I was a coach coaching a game, I want to coach somebody to play well. So I might tell them, look, this is what you should do, and this is what you shouldn't do, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so there needs to be clarity, but eventually words are seeds. So we want to make sure we use those effectively.
The language we use, which create or shape our thoughts and perceptions about ourselves and influences how we see ourselves, how we see other people, how we
Right.
communicate with other people, and how we see the world around us,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Speaking of the world around us, if any of your listeners listen to one of our first podcasts together, we talked about the creation of the universe and so on.
Yeah.
So, of course, I come from a biblical basis, for someone who's tuned in for the first time.
Yeah.
But how did God create the universe, right? He created it with words, and his first words were, "Let there be light," right? And so he
Yeah.
first created light, and then the light also then got converted into mass with Einstein's famous equation E equals mc square. So there's a physics to it too, but the bottom line is God created the universe with his words, saying, "Let there be light."
Yeah.
And we tend to create universes of our own in a sense by the words that we
Mm.
use.
We use now, so something, a little light bulb like bing went off there. Let there be light. And so with your words, right? Let there be light that comes
Right,
from your mouth, right?
right, right,
So instead of creating negativity, darkness, hurt, emotional distress, right, which is darkness, let there be light with the words that you use, which bring joy and love and appreciation, right?
correct.
Gratitude, right? Comfort, support, right? With your words, right? I know sometimes it's not always easy. I know because we live in a sticky world and people are sticky.
Right.
That's why I'm a little bit of a social hermit and very choosy as to who I socialize with,
Right.
which again is very much around our words as well. And the language we use is who are you socializing with, right? And we're going to get into that a little bit about cultural and social. Can you think of a situation where your words have made a difference or shifted a situation into a positive direction?
I had people who used words with me that made a shift in my thinking.
Yeah,
So this was I was a very young adult, just graduated from school,
yeah.
and I had a someone older than me, maybe he was 10 years older than me, tell me, I see. He had no reason to tell me this. He just said, "I see something special in you. I think you would be a very successful entrepreneur one day." Right.
Wow.
And shocked me because I never thought of myself that way. And he had no reason. It's not like he would get anything out of what I did with my life, but he just made a comment there, and so that stuck with me, saying,
Mhm.
"Wow, really? I mean, do I have some skills that I'm not aware of?"
Yeah.
And then a few years later, another colleague of mine told me, if you continue on this path of what you're doing and continue to learn, one day you'll be the CEO of a company, which also shocked me because again, not it was not my image of myself.
Yeah.
And again, he also had no reason to tell me, which gave it a little bit more credibility.
Yeah.
And so, but I saw the impact it had on me, saying it opened up possibilities in my head, saying perhaps I could do something beyond what I was doing, right? Perhaps
Yes.
I could grow. I mean, slowly these experiences added up, and that's when one fine day I said, "Oh, I think I can write a book." I mean, this it's not the same as being a CEO, but it was a different area. It was out of my comfort zone. It's not something I'd done before, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to say, okay, I think I have something to say. I think it would be of value to people. And so let me write a book, right? So
Yeah.
in that sense, the seeds that different people sowed in my life over the years made an impact, of a dramatic impact on me over my lifetime.
Yeah. Words are like seeds. Language is so important.
No, I do believe words have to be authentic, right?
Yes.
If I had looked at their words and say they just say that and they say to everyone, and then
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has
Yeah. Yeah.
no
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
real meaning, right? So I think it's important for words to be encouraging but also authentic. And when it is
Yes.
that, then it really touches a chord, right? It touches
Yes.
our soul almost. So